Hi everybody, I'm Randy Ridings, and this is the Quadyak Coast to Coast. In 2013, my father and I built a human-powered amphibious velomobile. In 2018, I started a trip from the West Coast in Oregon, headed towards the East Coast. This playlist is a series of videos that will detail that trip. Each video will cover about a 10-day 200 to 400 mile leg of this trip. I'm glad to have you with me and hope you follow along to the end.
Good morning. Randy Ridings here with Quadyak Coast to Coast trip. It is July 14th. This is day 13 of this summer and 117 of the entire trip. I am at the Pendleton boat launch near Dumas, Arkansas. 22 miles that way is Lock 0, which is where the Mississippi River starts. There's 2 locks between here and there. It's my first day back on the river, so I'm not going to push it too hard. It is hot. 7 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it's probably 85, 90 degrees now. Hey, I'm leaving this little lagoon by my ramp where I ended the trip 13 days ago. Arkansas River splits down here in about 10 miles. The right side is the true Arkansas River. They have built what's called a post canal, which is on the left, and it intersects the White River, but that's where I'm headed. And that route is 22 miles to the Mississippi. Well, I've been waiting for something, and I really was hoping it wasn't going to be one of the monsters when I saw it. But that is an alligator. I've got his attention, and now he's coming in the water, and now he's coming this way, and now I'm running away. Kind of funny thing about that was I actually saw him from a long ways off and went, wow, that looks like a huge alligator. Nah, it's just a log. Then I got a little closer and I looked back over and went, man, that log really looks like an alligator. He'd be, 10, 12 feet. There's no way I'm seeing one of those. They're pretty rare around here. No, that's exactly what it was. And you start trusting my instincts, avoiding places like that, really being careful at rest breaks. All right, I've done 5 miles, and that marker says 17.6. That'd be 17.6 miles to the Mississippi. And every little bump in the water is kind of freaking me out now. After 2 alligator encounters. I started here at Pendleton, this side of the bridge, went under the bridge, come up here, hit this little canal here, pass by this lake, and I'm here at the Marasak Lake Park. And here it is. 8 miles in 4 hours, 2 miles an hour. The lock is right around the corner. Alright, launching from the park. Lock is even less than a mile away. I am in Lock 2. I just shut the gate when I got here. The pull chain wasn't working, so I had to tie this thing up. I actually had to step on top of my bottom bracket to get to the ladder. Climb up, walk, knocked on the guy's window. I think it scared him half to death. Anyway, they're locking me down. I only actually have one more lock. It's 3 miles down because at Montgomery Point, they're not locking through. They just have an open channel because the water level, or the White River at that point, is the same as the water level of the Mississippi. The next lock is only 3 miles away. And they told me is that there's a big gator like to hang out at the end of the wall down here. He has just learned that if he stays down there, every once in a while a newly dead fish floats out. They're much less aggressive if they're fully fed. So I just left this lock, and I can already see the next one. So pulling into Lock 1, this is the last thing that could be even remotely considered Arkansas. After this, it's the White River. I have essentially kayaked from Hutchinson, Kansas to here on the Arkansas River, averaging about 20 miles a day for 40 or 50 days of this thing, so 800 miles. All right, Lock 1. Next 10 miles, the White River, there's no sandbars. Right at the end of this, there's a little boat ramp. I've been pushing hard with no current all day long. I'm going to just go ahead and call it. Yeah, that wasn't much of a drop at all. About 13 feet. On my way out of gate 1. I think I've done 14 locks. The watercolor is changing right here from green to kind of a, I think that's why they call this a white river. It's got kind of some white clay in it. So it's Arkansas River above it and White River below it. I'm going up the White River. Here we go. All right, concrete ramp, grassy knoll that I can throw a tent up on up there. July 14th. I made 14.3 miles today in 10 hours. Good morning. July 15th. Sometimes it's the little things that slow you down. Sometimes it's 1,000 little things. In this case, the 1,000 little things are all mosquitoes that are outside this netting waiting for me to come out. I'm going to get everything uber organized so I can jump out, run for the boat. I got 10 miles to the Mississippi. Successful launch onto the White River. Mosquitoes didn't find me till right at the end. Alright, so it's almost 7 in the morning. Looking forward to getting to the Mississippi, but I'm going to enjoy the White River while I got a chance. I've been in the Pacific, the Willamette, the Columbia, the North Platte, the Arkansas, now the White River. Alright, White River behind me, Montgomery Point, Lock and Dam beside me, Mississippi River ahead of me. I think I'm about to hit this current. It might just spin me around a couple of times. Yeah, there's a there's the beginning of the current for the Mississippi. So that's Pacific, Willamette, Columbia, North Platte, Arkansas, White, and now the Mississippi River. 10 o'clock in the morning on the 15th of July. The Mississippi is famous for undertows and swirling big, powerful. I am going to need to be careful. When I got out, and I hit that right there and went knee deep into quicksand mud. Some of this is hard, some of this is soft. I'm just stepping out of this boat now. I just gotta think about what I'm doing all the time now. I was warned about a couple things out here, barge traffic being one of them, undertow, quicksandy kind of stuff, both of which I've experienced. I'm hearing a sound, almost sounded like a jet engine. There's a breakwater stone wall all the way out there, and there are almost rapids. I see whitecaps off to the right. I'm not taking a chance. I came around a corner and had a boat heading right at me. I think that's the biggest one I've seen. 6 wide and 5 long. So that's a 30 right there. And I'm trying really hard to miss this log up here, and it keeps getting right in my way. Oh, gotta get turned into these. Get turned into them. Come on, Randy. Oh, man. There's a big one. Whew. Yeah, luckily I got a pretty good deflector up there. My other bilge pump got lost. So I went and bought a kind of fancy one, and it's right here. Now what I can do is just pump it like that. I was just about to wrap up my break when all the barges showed up at once. Alright, that's it for the 15th of July. I did 39.2 miles today in just under 12 hours. Good morning, this is July 16th. I did about 30 miles down the Mississippi yesterday. I have about 150 to go to Port Gibson, where I'm coming out. The Mississippi looks like a pond out there. It is just perfectly flat. I know that's not going to stay that way. Successful launch at 6:45. Well, they don't call it the muddy Mississippi for nothing. Look at this, you go, oh, sandbar. When you get there, this is mud that would just suck you in. I mean, I can stand here. I'm on sand. I'm fine. Right out there. It's crazy. Did about an hour and a half. About 7 miles. I think I'm going to do from now on, it's like breaks of opportunity. I'll just go until it's like, oh, I got barges coming. I got sandbar over there. Time for a break. Yeah, this is the part of the trip that doesn't suck. Sitting on a sandbar, you know, eating some oatmeal, watching the river go by. Man, this is just nice, but it doesn't get you down the river. There's a heat advisory on today, going to be about 96 with high humidity. Dark brown line down at the bottom, that is all mud. So that's not a sandbank, that's a smud bank. I woke up this morning to what sounded almost like explosions. I'm thinking they could be crushing rock, and I think I was right. Shows power of those waves. There is water in the boat. They're coming in over the gunnels when waves come and hit it sideways. 15 miles from Greenville. I'm going to try to stop there and get some water because I'm down to about 4 liters out of it. I'm doing about 4 liters a day, which means I got about 1 more day's left of water. So I knew the Mississippi was big, but this looks like I'm crossing a lake. It's over a mile wide at this point. I've had 2 cups of coffee today. I'm getting drowsy anyway. Like I can actually start to nod off out here, but my legs keep going. I have now developed that into like muscle memory. Surprised I don't start pedaling in my tent at night. Let's not put that thought in my head. That thing over there could kill me so fast, but it comes at you so slow. You are doomed in 7 to 12 minutes from now. Gotta pay attention, but man, it's hot. You know, I'm tired. I did not sleep good last night. At Greenville, there's nothing here on the shore. Running from this boat back here, which is officially the biggest one I've ever seen. It is a 7x5. On the satellite imagery, I saw a ramp. If I'm at the park, and if I find the ramp, and if I can land successfully, then I might have to walk to get some water. It's a tender boat just came out. Just pulled alongside. They got throttled back, so they're just drifting now. They just had shift change essentially. Mission accomplished, a bit at a cost. Alright, there's the ramp. So I headed up that. Got all my empty water bottles. No park. All destroyed. Now, there's a heat index warning today. And it started getting to me. And then my asthma started getting to me. What I didn't count on was 50 yards of newly mown grass I had to walk through to get to that facility. I didn't really want to take water out of a tap I didn't have vouched for. So finally another guy pulled in. All I could do is just hold my water things up and go, water. Like some guy coming across the desert. And he's like, well, that tap over there, you could make coffee with the first water that came out of there, so hot. Filled all the water up, started back. Well, now I'm carrying an extra 25 pounds. Like every step, it's like just put the water down and go get your inhaler. Just put the water down and go get your inhaler. Come back. I'm like, I don't want to walk back up that hill. Oh, by the way, the ramp is all mud. Since I made it back, threw the water in, got me inhaler. Took a puff. Now at least I can breathe. Actually, even up there, my stomach started hurting. So I think in the first stage of the heat exhaustion. I'm loopy. My extremities are tingling. I still see okay. I seem to be talking okay. Here's the facility. They're right up there. I might drift for a little bit. As soon as I see something to stop, I just stop. Oh shoot, I started to hear some sound, and there's a little shoal kind of thing going on over here. The last thing I needed was a sprint to get through something like this. You know, rocks right under the surface. I really don't want to hit anything. This is like boiling all over the place in here. I don't know how deep this is to make this happen. Oh, it's gonna just spin me everywhere. Oh, I see a long, beautiful sandbar. I get to face directly into the sun and paddle across the whole thing. I realized the sandbar was moving off to my left while the bank was still out there. It is an actual sandbar. This is out here in the middle. I'm gonna land on it and I'm gonna think for a minute. This thing sits up 3-4 feet high. The water level's trending down. I might go ahead and stay here. I don't like the idea of being trapped on something like this. Well, not trapped. The water comes up, you're leaving. In the middle of the night, you're going back down the river, whether you wanted to or not. The good news is this is hard-packed sand. The water level is dropping. This was all wet, probably yesterday. So I'm going to camp right up here. Sun's about to go down. I made 41.1 miles today in 12 hours. This wraps it up for the 16th of July. I am just below Greenville, Mississippi. Had a pretty rough day today. I'm actually feeling better. Still not hungry though, which is a bad sign. But there are some storms kind of brewing over there. Don't know if this will come out. Waiting for the lightning to flash in that cloud again. There's a little one. Been watching quite a show. The cloud's not getting bigger. So does not appear like it's getting closer. Good morning, July 17th, day 16 of this summer's trip. I've made 80 miles in the last 2 days on the Mississippi River. Had a storm kind of moved in, dropped the temperature, wind kicked up, so I had breeze and cool air. The first time that I haven't just laid in the tent for an hour and sweat. Going under the bridge. This chop is killing me. In second gear, it's just enough to make every turn of the pedal a mystery. It's like slipping on gravel. I'm just going to go along and keep my nose pointed downriver. Getting 5 miles an hour. Just taking my first break. Done about 9 miles in about 2 hours. Can't keep my eyes open. I'm going to try to just push through to my midday break and maybe just take a nap on a sandbar. Third rest break at 7 hours and 15 minutes. 24.5 miles. Talk about being trapped between a swamp and a barge place. So I'm right at about 30 miles now. I'm not even going to make 40 today. I'm just playing dodge barge all day long. Good morning. It is the 18th of July, day 17 of the trip. I'm about 2 miles upriver from a little town called Myersville, Mississippi. I had a pretty rough night. It was just hot. I am burning through water and Gatorade faster than I expected. I got water yesterday and I'm down like half my water now. There is a little boat ramp 2 miles from here, and you walk over the berm into town. There's supposed to be like one gas station. I've also made it to a new state. I have touched foot at least once in Louisiana. I think I found it. I saw a road going up through there. Hopefully I can get to these rocks, walk up there, tie off, and walk out that way. Well, this is Myersville, Mississippi. I'm standing up on the levee. Got over there, they didn't have any water for sale, but had a hose, and they did have Gatorade. I will show you some of the stuff I came through on the way. So I got to the other side of this, I almost turned back, but I could see the levee. Well, I got good road surface. I'll start walking. If I get up to my knees, I'll quit. I got up right below my knees. It's about a half mile back to the Quadyak. Alright, successful launch at the Myersville landing. My whole walk into town and back, 2.8 miles. Vicksburg, I've been told, is 45 miles downriver. And so tomorrow at Vicksburg, I might just take a day off. It seems so placid out here, like you're barely moving. And then you get a reference point like this. I'm going like 6 miles an hour. Heading into the curve, I was told, was very fast. The entire Mississippi River gets really narrow and turns about 180 degrees inside of about a mile. I've done about 19 miles today in about 7 hours. Just had the Louisiana, I think it was Fish and Game, pull up on me. They were just wondering where I was going, and there they are. Yeah, nice boat. It is about 4 in the afternoon, and real feel from AccuWeather says 108 degrees. I just put myself in a Death Race 2000 with that guy, so I'm just having to race across the channel, get to my side. When I finally saw 2 green buoys in a row, and I moved on the other side of that, then I knew that I was clear of them, and it gave me a little toot of the horn. First one's ever done that. Then came out and waved. I might have finally found just the fast corner, because I've seen 7.5 miles an hour through here. So yeah, 8.1 miles an hour, 8.4 miles an hour. Yeah, I mean, this is the fastest I've gone on this so far. So I've been seeing a pretty consistent 8 miles an hour through here. I saw 9.1. Yeah, this is nice. Getting some speed finally. So I've had my eye on a little beach over here. There's little figures moving on it. I thought maybe some animals or something. Well, they're animals, all right. There's about 15 people on this beach. I'm gonna pull up and then maybe I'll walk down and say hi. Good morning, July 19th. That sandbar right back there was my camp last night. Pulled up and there was a family there, and it was their fishing camp. Tried to give me all kinds of stuff. I kept having to tell them I couldn't take it because of the weight. It was very nice. I rolled over 3,300 miles in the trip yesterday. I'm on my way to Vicksburg today. It's about 25 miles from here. I thought I was pulling in midday, might be more like early to mid-afternoon. No, I'm not gonna push. I'm gonna get there when I get there. Taking my first break, 15.25 miles in 3 hours, 20 minutes. Family fisherman came by, told me that I'm still 7 miles from Vicksburg. I'm at 21 miles now. I'm at the confluence of the Mississippi and the Yazoo River, and right as I made the corner, this thing came screaming out. I was already struggling to get stopped, but luckily I found this one little place. There's no current. Now I'm supposed to go up the river 1.2 miles. My old friend the vulture was waiting for me at the corner. Say to him what I say to all of them when I see him. I'm not dead yet. Come back later. I'll be dead then. Pretty good current right out there going to my right, but over on this side it's just dead. Because I'm making my normal flat water speed of about 1.7, 1.8 miles an hour. If there's any day that I could have made a 50-mile day, it was today. I had already made 30 miles today by 1:30 in the afternoon. And I don't even have 50 miles left to go tomorrow, so it's not going to happen tomorrow. Alright, so here's one of these anchoring poles, and it looks like you just snake a cable over the top of it and pull down and just drive it into the mud. I am cutting between some stuff because there's less current over here. It gives me a chance to see some of the stuff up close. So this is a, I assume, grain elevator. Might be, that might be gravel and rock, I don't know. I should be a quarter of a mile for the boat ramp, right around that next little set of bollards. And here's the prow on one of these. On the front, that thing is to push the next one. This is quite the structure, and I'm sure a lot of it is for tying up barges. This, I assume, is the ramp, and then that's Vicksburg over there. So I am at the Cottonwood Public. Got a pizza ordered. Lynn came down, Trey's friend, and checked out the Quadyak and talked for a while, and that was fun. Lynn Logue, he's local here and heavily into kayaking world around here. Part of the Mississippi Paddlers Facebook group and all that. All right, launching from Vicksburg at 5 o'clock, full of pizza. That was a nice little stop. A little rough coming up this channel because I'm just not very fast. I mean, a regular canoe or kayak could handle this no problem. Leaving Vicksburg, this is the Yazoo River. So that's another river I've been on. Whopping 2.5 miles on the Yazoo. Up the old Yazoo. So I think I'll just go to this far bank, pick a sandbar at some point and camp. Good morning. This is the 20th of July. Camping spot up here on this sandbar. I had to get way up here to find a flat place. About 20 miles from my takeout at Port Gibson. So successful launch just downriver from Vicksburg. I'm gonna go about 15 miles and check my maps because I do not want to miss this takeout. All right, I've almost done 10 miles in 2 hours. All right, just leaving what should be my last rest break on the Mississippi River. I kind of can't even believe how calm the Mississippi River can be. I'm the only person putting waves in the Mississippi through. There's a power plant steam tower down there, and I've been looking at it for a half an hour now, and it finally dawned on me. I drove past that scouting the Port Gibson landings. Claiborne County Public Access, I think is what it's called. I was going along and I was like, that looks like a sandbar in front of me, and then I hit and I stopped. I hit so many of these on the Arkansas River at the beginning that wasn't even funny, but this is the first time I've grounded on the Mississippi. Hopefully it's not the kind of sand you sink into really badly. So far not too bad. I'm rolling. This is what I call walking the big yellow dog. The trick to some of those is seeing where they end. And you just see a darker patch of water. You gotta get in the boat right when that happens. I picked the right-hand path, and that might have been the wrong one. There are exposed sandbars. This boat behind me is hung up. This is the island. Thought I should hit it at 17 miles, and I hit it at 17 miles. So I should come around it at 19. And then the Claiborne County boat ramp is at 21. There we go. Here's the opening. Now we got to figure out exactly where you get out of this thing, because I think it's back there a ways. There's no current in this thing because it's just a cul-de-sac. So I'm going to stop my watch here at 24.25 miles. That brings me right up to the 200 mile mark on the Mississippi. Landfall.
Join me in the next video where I post the next leg of this trip. You can also follow along on the Quadyak's Facebook page, and check out my other Quadyak videos in the other playlist that shows how we built it and other trips I've done with it. I filmed about 100 hours this summer of this trip. You can visit my Patreon page, or if you just want to support me and the trip and my videos and future projects, please check that out. Put a link below so you can find that and support me. I hope you do. Thank you very much. I'm Randy Ridings, and this is the Quadyak Coast to Coast trip.